everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. This is the horror podcast here on the Mild Fuzz Podcast Network. Every week we talk about horror films from the past and the present. And he's back. He missed a week, but he is here. He is Tim. He is the Goat Man. He is Vargulish.
Yeah, let's do this. I'm ready.
Also, here, as always, is Joseph.
Hey, I have a cat now.
He's got a cat. That's so many MFers with cats. Tim's got a cat. I've got 2 cats. Kevin, another regular. He's not got a cat.
I don't have a cat, but I have a virtual pet. Tamagotchi.
You're missing out. You're missing out.
A bridge troll pet?
What?
What?
Wait, you've got like a virtual pet from like 1999?
Yeah.
Tamagotchi?
Yeah.
That is random. Kevin, how are you dealing in a post The Visit world where we don't have a Shyamalan film to look forward to for at least a couple of years?
Well, you know, how did the Christians and the Jews cope with when Jesus died? They looked forward to his resurrection. So, I'm just looking forward to an M. Night resurrection, a proper one.
That was a really particular metaphor there. Actually, has anyone else seen the trailer for that movie about Jesus rising from the grave, and it's like the manhunt for him, like it's like the Roman like hunting him?
Oh,
That's
no.
not.
No.
No, it's a movie coming out in like Christmas, because we covered the trailer for it on 1.21 gigawatts a couple of weeks ago. It's called Risen, I think, but it's like the manhunt from the Roman perspective, looking for him as if he's a fugitive after he's been resurrected.
We have 2
Is it
Jesus
a-
films coming up.
Yeah, sure.
What's the other one?
Ewan
The
McGregor.
other one's with Ewan McGregor, The Temptation,
All right.
Alright.
in the desert.
Now, that English accent you hear is not Connor. He's not hiccuping. This is James, who's actually never been on any of the Mailed Fuzz podcasts before, so welcome, James.
Hello.
Hi.
And why is... yeah, make him feel welcome, Kevin, that's a good idea. So, why are we all here? What are we talking about this week? We don't have a new release to talk about, but we did decide to talk about a film that did come out this year, mainly because Joseph actually watched it for the first time just by happenstance last week. We are going to be talking about Unfriended. This came out back in April or May, I think. And of course, it's the film, ironically, it's the film about people who are in a group call on Skype who start to get terrorised by an online ghost. So if anything weird starts happening during this podcast, you know why. And I'm going to make a confession, guys. I actually was planning to record a couple of creepy images and insert them throughout
I was
the
hoping you would.
and the only reason why I'm not is because if I put XSplit as the camera, it cuts off the sides and everyone couldn't see each other. But yeah. But I was planning on it. I want you to know I had it in my head and it was going to happen. But yeah, so we're going to talk about Unfriended. And this was I think right away, the first thing I'll say about this before we get into the main discussion point, regardless of what you think of this movie, regardless of, you know, good, bad, quality-wise, I think the thing that this movie has against it, in terms of getting people to actually watch it, is when you tell people it's an entire film on a computer screen, they immediately go, no, that's stupid, and walk away.
It's why I didn't see it in theaters.
Modern Family did it this year as well. We've
Yeah,
had
Modern-
2.
Yeah, they had an episode, didn't they, where
Yeah.
it was all on the computer. But I mean, at least that's like 20 odd minutes, and it's, you know, just, it's like once you're like 7-8 seasons into a show, it's like, well, yeah, do a random episode on something stupid like that. Why not?
It's not a 90-minute movie that feels like 3 hours, 3 agonizing
Well,
hours.
Joseph, you're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead. But yeah, actually, interesting story. When I went to go see this in the theater, I sat down and it was a quiet show and it was during the day, but there was 2 old ladies sitting just sort of like down a couple of rows, sort of diagonally from me.
Oh, hells
And-
yeah.
Yeah, and 2 minutes into the movie, I could just hear one of them lean over to her and go, "Oh, Deirdre, I hope the whole film's not like this." And I just started giggling because I knew the whole film was like that. But yeah, so let's talk about it now. As Joseph has not hidden at all, he did not enjoy this film.
I hate this film.
It doesn't get much more clear cut than that. Kevin, just overall, generally, without getting into any specifics, what are your general feelings on this movie?
Actually, I before I watched it, I was actually not putting it off because I actually did want to watch it, but I was sort of apprehensive about it because I'd heard so many negative things and I've heard so many mixed things and not so many positives. But I actually I hadn't heard anything other than it was based on other than the plot synopsis, and I actually really enjoyed this. I thought it was original. I thought it was fresh. I hadn't seen anything like it. I the characters are decent. They're
Well,
not the best.
I'm going to stop you there because we're going to go into that all in a bit more detail in a minute. But I just want sort of general. I want to know where everyone stands right now.
Okay.
Um,
I thought as for last year, uh, no, this year in
this year,
horror,
yeah.
It's this year.
yeah, it's turned out to be a good year, and yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah, I'll definitely get to that later as well. James, how did you just your general sort of where do you stand
I
on?
wasn't expecting to overly enjoy it, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, pleasant surprise. I think that maybe carry through here. Let's see where Tim stands on this.
Actually, pretty similar to James. Like you had mentioned, a lot of people were put off by the idea that it's a whole movie that takes place on Skype. Which, when I first saw the trailer earlier the year, I thought it looked so awful. But I actually remember, I think you had talked about it on 1.21 and had given it a pretty decent review. And ever since then, I'd actually been pretty interested in seeing it. And yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I liked it quite a bit. I wouldn't say I like loved it, but I did enjoy it a lot.
Well, it looks like Joseph's on
I
his
have
own.
no problem. I have no problem with that.
It looks like Joseph's on his own because
I will bring down the rating, the average rating, 5 points if I need to.
because I really I was so pleasantly surprised by this film, and it is a gimmick. Don't get me wrong. I mean, doing a whole film on Skype is a gimmick, but I think that any gimmick's worth doing once well. And I
Still
think
waiting on that once.
no, we're not because after this ended, what I actually said to anyone I spoke to about it was, I don't want a sequel. I don't want another film doing the
Getting a
same
sequel.
thing. Oh, sorry?
We're getting a sequel.
Well, there probably is, but like,
Yes.
I don't think we need one. I think, with the exception of the last 10 seconds, I think this is about as perfect as an execution of this idea as they could have probably done.
Yeah, you said about not wanting any other films to crop up like this, but it's going to be like the Blair Witch Project is essentially started.
Yeah,
Found
well-
footage. And this is going to be the same thing, and it's going to be every
Yeah.
2 or 3 years. There's going to be at least 2 or 3 films that are the exact same thing, and it's going to be overdone. But I don't mind
You're
that.
probably right, and they'll probably mostly be terrible. But
Yeah,
I
but-
actually think this one was pretty well written. Because what I really liked about this is really how the entire film is really about peeling back how awful every single one of these characters is. It's all about
They definitely are.
revealing their dark past and how horrible they really are. And what I really, really love about it is that most of it's revealed through action, especially with the main character whose computer we're watching, right? Because everything that we see, because even at the start of the movie, it's just her watching this video that sort of leads into the plot in it. But she clicks on a playlist that, like, the ghost takes possession of her computer and it starts playing like an ironic song that goes with the moment that's happening. You know, at that point, I love how authentic everything is. Like, they actually made a point of paying for real Google, real Facebook, real Skype noises. You know, everything about it's exactly what we actually use. Which potentially could date it, but I don't think that's a big problem. I think it's something that's very much in and of its time. It's of this era right now. And I think the way it is written and the way that it gradually reveals more about the characters, particularly the main character, and how it's later sort of actually revealed that she's behind everything that's bad that's happened to this main, like, ghost or the girl that died a year earlier. I actually, I audibly gasped at one point in this movie, and I never do that. I never do that in a movie, so this movie gets a lot of credit from me, and Joseph's making all sorts of silly faces at me. But this was a great movie, I thought.
At what point did you gasp?
when the main girl typed in he did it, and then like that made him kill himself.
Yeah.
As soon as she typed that in, I basically let out a proper gasp. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was not actually expecting that. Like,
She's old enough to live.
I was sure she was behind it in some capacity, but like that was dark. That was no fucking kill him so I can live. Like,
Yeah.
and everything's sort of boiling down to that moment, and everything that happens through the ghost is to play those characters off each other and to reveal more stuff, and it's all about the motives, and it's purely a character film through and through, and I actually really like that. So
It's a modern day 12 Angry Men.
Don't insult 12 Angry Men.
I get
Don't
what you're
insult 12
saying.
Angry Men.
Kinda.
Oh. Don't insult 12 Angry Men with this trash.
I wouldn't put it. Wait.
Just
One
don't.
great benefit.
To be fair, I've never seen 12 Angry Men.
James, you go, because Kevin takes about 10 minutes to get out the next word. So
One big benefit of a gimmick of a screen is when you see him type,
yeah,
and obviously because we can see the faces where you see her at least rethink as she's typing, when she's deleting messages.
yeah, because she'll type half of it and then change her mind and go back. And what
Yeah.
I like about that is that feels so authentic. Because how often have you done that? You've done that tons of times. Because
All the time.
yeah, because it happens all the time, and it's another one of those things that makes it feel really authentic. Because even though these characters are all basically awful people, because I'd hate all if I met these people in real life, I think they were all dicks, right? But at the same time, I still relate to the setting of the film, because everything they're doing, or everything she's doing on her computer, is stuff that I would do. Because she'll open up, like someone mentions something, and she opens up the browser and searches, like, you know, like when the account starts popping up on Skype, she like Googles it, and I'm like, that's what you do. Like, it felt really authentic in the way it was presented in that way, and I really appreciated that. Tim, how did you feel about the way all that was handled?
What, like the whole movie, like as a whole, like it all being on Skype and stuff, or
Yeah, like all the computer
like,
stuff and seeing everything she was doing, and
I liked it. Here's my like one big complaint though, and it's not really the fault of the movie. It's I guess it's kind of on me. Well, that's kind of about 50-50, but I don't have a really big TV, so it was kind of hard to like read it sometimes what they were typing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a huge issue. Like I for the most part I could usually see it, or if not, maybe I might have to scoot forward every now and again. But
that's an interesting point I had even considered, because I seen it in the theater, obviously. So obviously it was huge, like so.
yeah, I imagine the theater wouldn't be a problem at all. But
No.
I mean, otherwise though, like I did think it was really interesting, and like you said, it's cool as like a one-time thing. I wouldn't really want to see it again. And
Sequel out next year.
I mean, I'd be surprised if it's really good, but I mean, at least we have this one. But I don't know. I did enjoy it quite a bit. Like you said, it is cool that everything was real. I always hated like movies, or I feel like they do this in comic books a lot, where they'll
See, in
use-
comics, isn't like in the Marvel universe, it's like a, what is it they call it? All the Apple stuff that's usually an iPad or an is like a.
it's like a Stark something.
No, it's like, they have
Or-
one. It's like, is it not like one that's got like a pear in the back instead of an apple?
Oh, something like that.
Yeah, it's like, there's like it's either Marvel or DC or something like that, where
Yeah,
everything's got a pear on it, and it's obviously
Like-
just like.
And like DC, they have like Q phones, or
Yeah.
you know, someone would be like, "Oh, I just logged on to Face Space," or you know, My Book, or something like that, and it's like, yeah, we get like just. But then what I don't get is like some places will just like use the name and not even give a fuck, and it's like nothing happens to them, so it's like just like who cares? But I don't know. Yeah, overall, I thought it was good, and it was handled pretty well.
There's whenever they and there's it's a problem that I'm watching Mr. Robot at the minute. It's a problem I have with Mr. Robot, and it's not anything to do with the quality of the show or anything. It's just something that I personally have a problem with. It's whenever they use sort of internet language in real life, and they did it a few times in this, but I can't remember when. but it makes me cringe a bit. It's like, oh,
It depends what
Don't-
it is, because there is some of that stuff that you do actually find people saying. So I mean,
These are high schoolers. They'll be the most likely to do
yeah,
that.
like,
There was
the one
Sorry.
that bothers me generally is when people refer to the net, because no one says the net.
Not the 90s
But, like,
anymore.
No.
but like people don't say, I'm AFK or I'm in IRL. Like, they don't really use.
Well, people do say AFK. I've heard AFK.
I think some
Really?
younger kids might do that.
Mm.
I think it's more of a younger thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one thing that actually kind of took me out was there was a few things, like at one point the main character, or well, actually someone says like, "Oh, this person's probably just a troll," and the main character's like, "What's a troll?" And I'm like, "What? Like what
That's-
high school
yeah.
student would not know what a troll is?"
I think that's
Uh,
for the benefit of the two grannies. That
Yeah.
were,
The two
Yeah.
guys that are
showing.
my showing, yeah.
Deidre and whatever. The fuck.
Jerdleen.
Jerdleen. What?
Oh, it's an Irish name. Doesn't matter.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's a really Belfast name, Jerdleen.
Yeah, Jardleen. Yeah, I've never heard that either. Yeah, so let's talk about the way sort of the tension's created. I wouldn't say there's any sort of scares.
What
Well-
tension?
There's tension. Oh, come on, when she's playing that
There's a
countdown
lot of
game, that's tension.
No.
Yeah.
Felt none
Yeah.
of it.
I'd say so.
Yeah, there was
I'm
tension
not
on those countdown games, especially see when they both had the bits of paper and they weren't allowed to show them, and the boyfriend was like freaking out
Show
because he
me
just
now, or else I leave. I hang up.
like because he just found out that she'd slept with him when he thought she was a virgin, so he's already in like a really pissy mood about that. And then they both get bits of paper, and he's like, you're sending secret messages to each other, and the countdown's happening, and like, you know, one of them has to show it so the other one will die. Like that was tense. Like that countdown thing was working really well.
By this point in the movie, I'm already looking at my clock saying, how much longer can this end already? Just somebody die. Come on.
That's really weird because I thought the 80 minutes flew in. Like
Yeah, so
I
did I.
didn't.
No, it felt like 2 hours, 2.5 hours to me. I was just in agony. Is this over yet?
This is such a opposite opinion to
Yeah.
everyone else for the most part.
I don't care. This movie, I said I hated this film. I'll talk about it later. I'll wait.
Oh, okay. Right, so yeah. Before we go into the characters, let's talk about some of the death scenes because I actually quite liked how brutal a couple of these were. The knife in the eye,
Ooh, yeah,
that was good stuff.
The hair straightener in the throat.
Yeah, yeah,
Bender.
that's gross.
yeah.
She
The
finally
blender,
asked
one from the trailer.
Yeah. The knife in the eye was my favourite though, because that was just such a brutal way to kill yourself. Was just to like properly stab yourself in the head.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, in terms of just blood and gore, I think the knife stab was the best. But I think my favorite was whenever she got the hair straightener down her throat, and then it was posted on Facebook. I thought that was really cool. Like,
Look,
you know,
guys, I finally shut up.
Actually, that was another thing I liked actually about the sort of the early part of the film when they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on and this mystery person that's there. Is they're sort of speculating, oh, it's this other girl we don't like who's trolling us, or it's, you know, they're trying to figure it out, and the things they're suggesting make sense that you would suggest before you start getting to the creepy stuff where, oh shit, we're actually in danger in our rooms, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously the characters are not meant to necessarily be likable. Although I do think that the main girl and her boyfriend are fairly likable up to a point. Not the whole film, obviously, because once you learn more about them, especially the girl
Yeah.
by the end.
yeah.
But I think that's partly why that reveal of her being such an evil bitch by the end of the movie actually hits a bit harder.
Yeah.
It's because she is somewhat likable to begin with.
Yeah, for the first like 10 or 15
Evil's
minutes.
harsh. So,
Yeah,
was that-
but
Was that James?
so I think evil's harsh.
Evil's
Yeah.
harsh. She deliberately put her boyfriend to the slaughter to save her own puny ass. How's that not?
Showed the
He would not
paper
do
to
that.
kill the other guy to save her boyfriend. Who
Yeah,
she
she's
would
killed 2 people at this
sacrifice.
point. She's been directly responsible for the death of 2 people by this
3
point.
people if you consider that she took the video of Laura.
3 people? She's a fucking mass murderer, James! What are you talking about?
First one's accidental. Bad, but accidental.
They're all accidental. They're all suicides that she helped lead to. She's an accomplice to 3 kill deaths.
I get where she's coming from.
Oh dear.
I think that's a valid point. I mean, I didn't think she's necessarily evil or anything either. She's more like a scared teenager, really.
Well, okay, let me clarify my statement then, because I just sort of used evil as shorthand. I do think that while what she does is very selfish, and it does make her a very flawed character, I don't think she does anything at the same time that isn't relatable in some way. Like, you could buy that maybe you would try and save your own ass in a situation like that. It's not, you know, she doesn't go out of her way to be a dick about it, but when she's given the choice, is it her or someone else? She's like, no, it's the other person dying. I'm living. But it's the one where she actually, because when she actually chats to the dead girl and says it was him that's posted the video, that was the moment that made me gasp, because that was a moment where it felt like it was more than just, you have to pick. She actually, in her head, decided, if I do this, she'll kill him and not me.
Yeah, I didn't read that scene that way.
Alright, okay. How did you read
Not
it?
that she was saying he posted a video, as in, originally, that he just shared it. That he is one of the people who was sharing it round. And then, that's when the reveal comes that she shot the video, but...
I mean, I suppose like he could have been the one that spread the video. But given what we just learned, I guess I assume she was lying to save her own ass.
No, I think Laura
They all
knew
shared.
the entire time. Laura knew the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
First.
yeah. Oh, of
So
course.
I don't think Laura necessarily would have killed him if he didn't have anything to do with it. So I did believe he shared the video, and she admitted to it. And Laura says, "I know that must have been hard for you, but we have one final thing: you're not innocent yourself."
Yeah. Yeah. And I do want to mention the ending, because I think this movie would have been damn near perfect had it ended about 10-15 seconds earlier. Because see, after she like shows her the full version of the video that reveals that she was holding the camera, right? And it shows you, like, and it posts it to, you know, YouTube
Her
or whatever.
Facebook.
And everyone's commenting on it saying, "Oh my god, what did you do? What did you're evil, you're a monster, blah blah blah." And all that stuff's happening, right? And then
That would have been the perfect ending.
And then it's her crying and just sort of begging for forgiveness, or like asking, "Please, Laura, please." You know, she's like begging for forgiveness, and I really wanted it to cut to black and leave the audio of her begging over the credits, because I thought
she
that
has
would
to
have been
live with it.
yeah, I thought that would have been the perfect punishment, the perfect ending, and the perfect sort of, really sort of the best revenge. Like, it's like everyone knows how much of a bitch you are, and it's never going to leave you now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to kill you because you're probably going to kill yourself after a year of this.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
no, they took it's the same problem that the first Sinister had, and the second Sinister, where they just did a stock generic stupid jump scare at the end.
Yeah, it was stupid.
So dumb.
I think in future I'm going to actually turn my Blu-ray off. Just like just before that moment, I'm just going to cut it off and be like, "That's the end of the movie." Because other than that final 10 seconds, I really like this movie. But let's get to Joseph's complaints, and let's all collectively get our bats out and hit them away one by one.
Okay, so I have been overselling my hatred of the film, actually.
Oh.
Partly because my wife was here, and partly because Connor over the week has been aggravating me with this. I didn't enjoy the film. That is true. I did not enjoy the film. It did feel long to me. I will give it credit to where it felt different. I was always watching the film. I was always intensing, this is an interesting concept. I want to see where it goes with this. But at times I felt the gimmick kind of got in the way, particularly with the kills. It would do the Skype freezing moments, which is realistic, but it felt, for me, I just didn't feel any scares because you don't see what's going on until they're already dead. Okay, what happened? I lose it. I would have
Actually,
liked to
you
see
know what,
just...
Joseph? I'm going to pick you up on that point. I think that is very intentional, because I think that's meant to put you in the position of the main character, who's having to sit there and wait to find out what just happened.
I understand that's what their point is, but I just feel that it was more of a bit of a weakness. I kind of wanted to see a little more. it's a superficial complaint. That one, it's a superficial complaint.
I
But
agree
it was very well written characters. It was believable.
Oh,
It was
let
very-
James jump in before you go
Sorry.
on any other points.
You're right with your. It's not particularly scary because, and part of it's because we never leave that screen. But I do wonder if, to a generation that is Skyping all the time, is it scarier for them than it would be
Well,
for a slightly older generation that isn't?
it's funny actually because going back to the authenticity of using real things, it was funny how, like, when their call ended the first time, like everyone's cameras went off and that gave the red box in trying to get the call back, and it was the same noise. That happens to us all the time. Like we're doing the podcast and the call will cut out, and it's like the exact thing that happens on Skype when this stuff happens. It was so again going back to that authenticity, it made it feel very realistic in that sense. You know, it introduced the demonic element or the ghost element into something that was otherwise completely accurate to how things work. Even the way the cameras were all lined up in a line, and then her camera was in the bottom. That's exactly how mine's is set up right now. That's how I see all you guys on Skype right now.
Yeah, but I know I can understand what James is saying because it's not catered. It doesn't try to cater itself towards an older audience. It's definitely aimed towards a younger audience who are more in touch with technology. Because
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, though, you just wouldn't do the idea. If you wanted to aim it to everyone, you just wouldn't do this idea.
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, it doesn't even try to, which
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to try to accommodate for everyone in the first place. I think it's not a complaint, but I don't know what it is. It's a comment.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's a movie of this era specifically. You know, right, Joseph, go back to your tirade of hate.
Well, no, as I said, no, the characters were very believable, and as we point out, they are all awful people. And for me, we've had the discussion before with Prince of Darkness. I didn't care about the characters. Made me give it a little lower rating to everybody, though I still liked it. I always feel I need to at least care about one character in a horror film, or else I don't feel personally any tension or suspense going into the film. And for this, I didn't feel a single shred of it. That's partly why it felt so long to me. I was just waiting for the next kills as they came. And it also felt predictable all the way to the end because I was accurately able to predict the order of the death in the first 10 minutes.
Well, I think that's just fair game because if a movie's well written enough, you know who the important characters are, so you know who has to survive the longest.
No, I did the exact order. You shouldn't have to really be able to guess exactly the first couple, but my wife and I were watching.
Honestly, Joseph, I think that's on you. I do never try and sit and guess the order of anything on a movie.
It did.
I
thought it was so obvious to me. But
I try to not guess anything when I'm watching a movie. I deliberately try to avoid it because I don't want to be a smartass and try and ruin it for myself.
It ruined for myself. It made the movie drag, and I was just waiting for next death. I don't care about any of these people. I don't feel any tension. I need at least one character to care about.
See, I think I did. I think I cared about the main girl, which is probably why I gasped when she did that really awful thing where she put her boyfriend.
I would say her boyfriend probably was the most likable guy to me, but.
He was the most fucked over because he found out his girlfriend had already had sex with his friend like twice.
And he was the most honest. As soon as they were playing the game, the Never Have I Never, he was quick to admit to what he did every time.
Yeah.
Like I said, most of my complaints are a little superficial, but they do add up to an overall unenjoyment of the movie. I did overplay how much I hated it, mostly because Connor was aggravating me all week, but it still was not a movie I enjoyed. It's still
he's going to love hearing that when he listens to this.
I know, because he's a troll, but...
What's a troll?
Yes, what is a troll? Everyone tell us. I can see where you're coming from there. I do... They're not likeable characters for the most part. Maybe the main girl and the boyfriend, as we said, but I think even the characters who are kind of shitty at least have some depth. At least the other guy did. Like the other guy who was sort of the third main pillar, I suppose.
The man,
of the plot.
The best friend of the boyfriend.
Yeah. He had a past, he had depth, he had something interesting going for him. So even if he wasn't likable, he wasn't just two-dimensional, which was nice. Which is actually kind of rare for a horror movie, because most horror movies have pretty two-dimensional characters. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Some you usually get one or two that you like, and that's where you fear for them. But
So
I feel bad for the tech guy.
yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah, you didn't even get to the game, so we didn't even get to find out if you did anything bad.
Oh, this was the first victim, and I always want to know, what was he looking at? What did he see Laura's ghost in
Yeah.
that moment where he notices it's his screen? He's just staring for about 10 seconds before all of a sudden it's freezing and we see him dying. I just really want to know, did he see Laura's ghost?
Who knows? Who knows? Mystery's part of the game, isn't it? Right, does anyone else have anything other that they specifically want to bring up before we start getting to overalls and ratings?
Laura, I forget her name, but the main character is in a relationship with one of the most attractive guys. Like, why would you cheat on him?
She was drunk. We remember her admitting that. She was drunk.
That's just such a weird complaint to come from
And it lasted a second.
from a young heterosexual gentleman such as Kevin.
I can, I'll compare this. If I was in a relationship with Ryan Gosling, I would not cheat on Ryan Gosling.
With who would the other guy be? Let's complete the metaphor here.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I can't believe we're doing this, but okay, if you think Ryan Gosling's more attractive than Jake Gyllenhaal, raise your hand.
Ryan Gosling is one of the most attractive men working in Hollywood. Probably the most attractive man.
Bearded Jake Gyllenhaal, maybe a little better, but
Yeah, beard. Yeah, if Gyllenhaal's rocking that beard.
I don't like beards.
but not Nightcrawler Jake Gyllenhaal. Not Nightcrawler.
No, not Nightcrawler. No, of course not Nightcrawler.
Eh.
I'm talking about more Prisoners Jake Gyllenhaal or Enemy Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, maybe.
Alright, that's going to be a new weekly feature here on the Screams After Midnight horror podcast. Which one of these two men would you rather? But
You guys are such
kill.
pigs.
how dare we objectify other men? How dare
It's ridiculous.
we? Alright, let's get to ratings then. And James, I hate to tell you, it will be out of 10. And everyone rates out of 10 on this show.
There's a superior system.
No, it's not. It's a horrible system. It is a silly
Go to
system.
4. Go to 4 and irritate Pierre that way.
4 is just even more absurd. At least 5 is divisible from 10, so I can double it and get the correct score. So anyway, so this week we will do, I don't know.
Dropped calls.
No, that's boring. Let's do.
Hands in blender.
Laura's.
Ryan Gosling's. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Let's do out of 10.
You know what I just realized?
Oh, Mike, Kevin, your mic. Stop stretching and doing things because it makes noises.
What'd you realize, Tim?
Alright.
This is the second movie we did in a row where like shitty pants were like a vital plot point.
I guess, yeah. Okay. Alright, we'll try and make it a hat trick next week, folks. But let's do 10 suicidal teenage girls out of 10, right? Let's see how many we rate here. Let's go round the room here. We'll start on what will most likely be the low end of the ratings. Joseph, how many suicidal teenage girls out of 10?
Well, now I feel like I need to lower my score because I don't want suicides. I don't want a high number of suicides. But it is in run of the mill. It was unique. It had an interesting writing system, so I can't fault it for its technicality. But for enjoyment level, it was just average 5 suicide teenage girls out of 10.
Kevin, how many suicidal teenage girls out of 10?
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention was that I actually really liked how it didn't rely, up until the last 10, 15 seconds, it didn't rely on any jump scares.
Yeah.
It was all just sort of tension.
Although, actually, to
built
be fair,
up
I think there was technically one. See, when the ghost played the music, I think that did come in loud, as if it was maybe a slight jump scare, but I mean, whatever, that's nitpicking, like.
Yeah.
And when they were dying, it kept freezing. It would come back very loud.
It was mostly tension. It was mostly suspense and tension that was built up, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Jason, stop sticking your head. We know you don't like it. You don't have to exclaim it every chance you get. Right. So anyway, Kevin.
I really enjoyed it. The 80 minutes went by in a flash. I really enjoyed it. Like 7.5 to 8 out of 10. I'll give it 8 out of 10. Be generous.
Yeah, 10. Cool. James, out of 10, suicidal teenage girls.
7.
7
7
suicidal
out of
girls
10.
10. Cool. Tim, how many suicidal teenage girls out of 10?
It's I enjoyed it overall. It lost a few points here and there for me. Like I said, it's a little hard to read on my TV screen, and the last 10 seconds kind of put me off. And also, even though I did like it, for me, I feel like there's not a lot of rewatchability for this movie. I don't know. It's not something that screams to me like, oh man, I can't wait to see this again, or oh man, I need to buy it. But still, a good watch. So I would give it a solid 7.
Is that higher than what you gave The Haunting?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, that's not that bad. He gave fucking Sinister 2 a higher score than he gave The Haunting.
I like this more than
good.
both Sinisters. I do like this.
Oh,
more
of
than
course.
both.
Yeah, you must do.
Those were awful.
Imagine this, but
know
not
if I could,
supernatural.
It would be better.
Just that, yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Be a murder mystery.
If we
I
found out it was a
don't,
killer.
I don't
That's
know
why
if
I
it'd be
kept
better.
freezing.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it'd be better, but it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to go that
Maybe
way.
that's what they should do for the sequel. Is just take a different set of characters but make it not supernatural.
I don't know. It's a
I
different
wouldn't
director
mind
and writers. I don't know if it'll go that route though.
Anyway, okay, so I'll give my rating. I am going to go higher than anyone else. It's getting an 8.5 dead suicidal girls out of 10, or dead suicidal girls? Just whatever. Suicide teenage girls, whatever I said the first time. 8.5. It probably would have been a 9 had the last 10 seconds not decided to cop out with a shitty jump scare. But now I was pleasantly surprised, and as Kevin mentioned earlier, this year's actually turned out rather well for horror films. On this show alone, we've covered Creep. This year we also had It Follows, which we've not done yet, but I'm sure we will at some point, and Unfriended, and hopefully something like Krampus will end up being worthy of the year. Crimson Peak's coming out.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
I'm
even
seeing The Final Girls in 2 days on Thursday.
you lucky bastard.
Yeah.
Mister
I
in
would
LA,
be-
it gets to go to fresh screenings and early showings of things. But we'll definitely cover that one at some point as well when everyone gets a chance to see it. And of course, the supposedly final Paranormal Activity movie's out in October as well. So we've got some more stuff to check out. Although I've got a funny feeling the best is behind us as far as this year is concerned. But that is Unfriended. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to unfriend everyone here for being, awful people. But what were you going to say, Tim?
Before we get off, you'd actually mentioned it on the last episode, and we didn't get into it, but just kind of curious, would you classify this movie as found footage?
No.
No.
No, it's a new subgenre. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
there's two other
I-
films like this
Yeah.
I heard about. So
No, I wouldn't call it found footage, and I think it's mainly because it manages to avoid a lot of the things that found footage has to do. Because right away, there's not a single point in this movie when I'm like, why don't you turn off the camera or turn off Skype? Because clearly they
Yeah.
can't. Because once stuff gets
They'll die.
serious, the ghost says, no, if you do that, I'm going to kill you. So, it avoids a lot of those tropes and it avoids a lot of those issues. So so mostly we're quite pleased. Joseph wasn't as impressed, but everyone else seemed to enjoy it. From 7s all the way up to 8.5s.
7.1 average score.
Joseph just worked it out in the time I was talking. Very good. Alright, so that's Unfriended. We will be back next week with a mystery film. I'm not going to tell you what it is. We don't have a new release for next week though, so it'll be something old.
Something non-Blumhouse.
Something non-Blumhouse. And then the week after that, I believe we do have something scheduled. I can't remember what it is though. There's something out in the theaters, but I'll tell you next week. It's fine. So yeah, that's been Screams After Midnight. We've been talking about Unfriended. As always, guys, please do follow us on Twitter and stuff at mild_fuzz. You can also email us at mildfuzz@gmail.com if you want to suggest films for us to talk about. If you want to hear about, Ask Zombies from Space Part 9, send us the email, request it, we'll do it. We'll have to watch the first 8 first. That's a lot of Ask Zombies to watch, but we'll do it because we're
9's when they started going downhill.
It was. I think so too, Tim. But you can do that. You can also subscribe on YouTube or subscribe on iTunes or even Stitcher, like us and 5 stars and all those wonderful places. It helps us out a lot. If you want to find everyone else here on the interwebs, you can do so. Kevin?
You can find me on Letterboxd and Twitter at Momoguy at Momoguy123.
Cool. I feel like Kevin needs subtitles for the Americans to understand them. James, where can people find you in the interwebs?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Great.
Facebook, but that's about it.
Okay, he's in England. You can find him in England. Joseph, where can people find you?
On Twitter at jkohler_93 and on Letterboxd at jm_kohler. Also in the Mild Fuzz Facebook group where I am going to unfriend Connor for his smug troll ass this last week.
Oh dear. Tim, where can people find you?
Pretty much any social media thing at Tim Vargulish, other Mild Fuzz podcasts, including Hellraisers, the Hellblazer podcast, where me and Alan Malden review every issue of Hellblazer ever. And if you want to check out my comic book stuff, facebook.com/GoatmanComics.
Cool. You can find me on Twitter and other social media places at Wibble89. You can also find me on other shows here in the Mild Fuzz podcast network, such as the Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast, The Slayer Revisited, in which me and Alden are working our way through every single episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel and reviewing them on a weekly basis. Come and join us and rewatch the show with us, or watch it for the first time. We're making a conscious effort not to spoil anything that's past the point that we are in the rewatch, so you should be very welcome there. But that's pretty much us, guys. You can check all that stuff out. And since we're on a horror movies podcast, I will briefly mention all the horror video games that I've been playing and putting on YouTube over at the 1080 Plays YouTube channel. So check that out too if you want to catch that stuff. But that's us, guys. Keep watching scary movies, and we will see you next week. But not the Scary Movie franchise. I did not mean that. Do not watch that. They're fucking awful. They're terrible. Bye, guys.
See ya.
And Kevin, give us a sentence. For fuck's sake!
I can't think of it.
Kevin, it's a sound check! Do you know how frustrating it is when you make videos all the time and you ask people for a sound check and they just look at you blankly like, what the fuck do you want me to say?